Welcome back, everybody. In this video, I want to talk about Fubar on Netflix. Yeah, I finally finished it because each episode is like 45 minutes to an hour long, and there's 8 episodes, so it took me a while to get through the entire show. Anyway, before I begin the video, I want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel here. Leave a comment and like the video as well. Every little bit helps. Oh, and also, I'll be talking about some spoilers in this show, so this is your spoiler warning. In case you were totally unaware and totally oblivious, Fubar stands for F'd Up Beyond All Recognition, and it's been used for like 50 years. So that's the term Fubar. But this series is about a CIA operative on the verge of retirement discovering a family secret and is forced back into the field for one last job. And that secret is basically his daughter's also in the CIA as well. Now, for those of you who are my age, you might remember a movie from the 90s that Arnold Schwarzenegger did called True Lies. He was also in the CIA in that one as well. He hid the secret from his wife. So a lot of people are thinking that this Fubar is a sequel to True Lies, but it's not. By the way, if you haven't seen True Lies, you gotta go check it out. It's a pretty cool movie. All right, let me get to the point right away. If you love action movies and action series, you're gonna love this series. However, on the other hand, a lot of critics have been saying that this series is uneventful. It has the same tropes from the 80s and 90s action films. And if you're saying that it's uneventful, well, you're missing the whole point, because it's just like one of those 80s and 90s action films. There's a lot of one-liners, there's a lot of cheap jokes, there's a lot of sex jokes, and of course there's a lot of action, drama, and guns. So if you're not into that kind of stuff, then this probably isn't for you. I particularly enjoyed it, but it wasn't super great. You know what I'm saying? My son kind of liked it, but he fell asleep. My wife fell asleep right away, and my daughter wasn't interested in this at all. I, on the other hand, enjoyed it. But the problem was, it was way too flippin' long. I love a good action movie. This is an action series, and each episode is between 45 minutes to an hour long. So that's 8 hours of content and information. Way too long, if you ask me. This thing could have been cut down to, I don't know, 6 episodes. And they also leave it with a cliffhanger, which means there's probably going to be a season 2. And even though Netflix is notorious for canceling TV shows before they get a second season, I have a feeling that this one's going to get at least a second season to wrap things up. Not positive, but I'm pretty sure it will. Because the one thing that kind of blew my mind was this Tina girl. She's a special analyst, and I think she's a Russian spy because she started speaking Russian to somebody on the phone before the series was over with in the last episode, only I couldn't really tell who she was talking to. So that's a good twist. And then everybody else is in a van and they're leaving going somewhere we don't know. Listen, I'm not going to give it a score, but I will say if you're my age, you'll probably enjoy this series. It has action, drama, suspense, lots of guns, the same kind of action flick stuff that you see in the 80s and 90s movies. But if you have kids or grandkids, they might not like this. I don't know. Hey, before I close out the video, I'm going to remind you that I wrote a romantic comedy book called The Taming of April. And you're going to love this. Here's how I tie it into the review I just made. Fubar was inspired by the action films of the 80s and 90s. My book, The Taming of April, was inspired by the early 2000s romantic comedies, like Wedding Crashers or The 40-Year-Old Virgin. So if you like romantic comedy stories, that's kind of like a rated R romantic comedy movie, check out my book, The Taming of April. So have you seen the Netflix series Fubar? If you have, comment below the video and let's talk about it.